Well, now we need to turn to Earl Hackett, who is finishing up his build, his 3D printed structure that he finishes tonight for us. And Earl, welcome. I really do appreciate you doing this.
Hi there. Yep, I'm going to finish this. It's going to be a very short one because all I have to do to finish it is put the windows in. So let me get this thing up here. Let me share the screen. Share. Boom, there we go. Come on, start the thing. I have to click it twice. That's right. There we go. So this is part 5, final assembly, which really isn't that much.
I'm just seeing you.
Oh, you are? Oh, wait a minute. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. How's that?
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So we're just, this is the final assembly, which is really just putting the windows in. Again, this is the model we're building. It's the plans for this is as built. This is how the building was built. The plans that you can find somewhere on net or have been published elsewhere. There are minor differences. For example, the steps. The steps were not built like this. So I always go for the photographic evidence and build from the photograph. Well, the windows, I build them with separate sashes, and it's a very simple print. We have a little notch in here for the upper sash to sit in, and the lower sash can be positioned anywhere, up and down. So you can actually open the windows up, so some of them being open. When I do the depot, I noticed that in the photographs, a lot of them showed the upper sash being pulled down as well as the lower sash being pulled up. So for that, I'm just going to take this stop here and move it down a little bit so we can lower the upper sash on those for the depot. The sashes themselves, I printed in long strips like this. These have been sprayed with a white primer, so like the latex paints will stick to it. When I was spraying them, I put tape on the ends to hold them down flat so that they don't make a great big mess of it. And after this window here was a reject. I messed it up pretty bad, so using it just for illustration purposes. It was sprayed both sides with the white primer. So when I spray the dark gray for the one side, I just spray it on, and the other side of this is the other side of this one is white. The other side of this one's black. You don't have to mask anything. It just give it a quick blast with a spray and it's done. For gluing them in, I use my favorite glue, which is Welder. And I just dab a few spots of it along here and along here. And when you push that into the window opening, it basically squeezes the glue back in against this flange here, and you have no squeeze out on the outside of the model. And that stuff holds like you wouldn't believe. It's the best adhesive I've ever seen. So here's the finished model. This little guy back here, this is the filter house. It wasn't a part of the original structure. It was built as an add-on to filter water coming into the building. And it was originally shown in the drawings as being actually an extension, just plugged right onto this corner of the building. But further documentation showed it being as a separate structure. And so that's how I built it. This is the back side. Now this is my first shot at building a multi-piece printed model. It came out all right. There were some mistakes made along the way, and I just said, well, we're just going to live with them. The bigger models, this is a learning process, and we should do better on the next one. But the whole thing is mounted on a piece of 1/4-inch plywood, and that will be mounted in the on the layout. You can see here, if you look at here, you'll notice that the floor is not installed yet, and there's a reason for that. I got a topographic map of the area, and these are 2-foot contour lines, 2 feet between lines, and the bunkhouse sits right in this general area. I think it's actually sitting against this building. I go back to the foundation for this building still exists there at Thurmond. And so I know that the bunkhouse is right next to it. The question is, I think this is the one that that's still there. This one here is an rectangular shape. This one here is almost square. So I suspect the bunkhouse is right in this area here. But you can see it's on a pretty steep grade. And that's why I have those big long pilings on there. So that eventually I just lift the building up. When I put it in, I have to build the fill in underneath to fill in to simulate the grade. That's going to be a bit of a trick. But this is the topo map laid on top of my track diagram. This line, these 3 lines, these are the 2 main lines, and this, you can see it matches pretty darn well. And I'll be taking dimensions off of the topo map and integrating them into the line. So I'm not going to be able to hold the normal 2-inch clearance here. It's going to be a 1 and a little over 3/4 of an inch clearance between center lines. Because that's the prototype dimensions, and this is going to be. I have very little room to play around with in here, so it's going to be tight. Be pretty precise track work here. So anyway, that's where we are, and it's all done, and it'll be hopefully be installed in the next year or so. Anybody have any questions?
I think you've done a beautiful job, Earl. I think I even understand a little bit about 3D printing now that I did before. So thank you so very much for doing this.
Okay. Take care now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.